Hey guys, all right. So listen up because I'm going to go through this stuff really fast because it should be all the review. I'm going to give you the answers to your study guide and we'll work through it together with this PowerPoint slide with the information. Look at my board frequently. Pause this video frequently and fill in your study guide. So remember, it's about learning the material, guys, not getting through this as fast as you can. So we're going to go ahead and get started, get your study guide ready to go. And we're going to go through this very quick. Okay, so in your study guide, that is wrong. Right here. Here we go. Okay, so it starts out with the Enlightenment age, John Locke and Baron de Montesquieu. This is origins. This is the origins. So let's start with that unit. So origins. Here we go. It all starts with the central question. How did past experience influence the founding documents of the United States? In other words, how did past experiences and documents basically end up in our Constitution? Where did we get our ideas of democracy and a president and a Congress and all that? Where did we get those ideas from that make America America? It all started right here with the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta, remember, was a document written by the Dark Ages. What we have the evil King John and the barons. The barons were the wealthy landowners. And the wealthy landowners overtook King John because King John was evil and was taxing them without their consent and basically just executing them on the spot and their sons and taking their lands and things like that. They didn't like that. So they overtook him. They forced King John to sign this Magna Carta. It's called the Great Charter. And the Great Charter did many things. It gave them two rights. It gave them the right to trial by jury of peers. It also gave the barons the right to no taxation without consent. What that means is King John could no longer tax them as much as he wanted to without their permission. This was a great example of what we have a term here in the United States called limited monarchy or limited government. And it's taking the power from King John and giving it to the barons. King John can no longer just do whatever he wants, but he has to obey the rights of the barons. He had more power before. He has less power now. Okay? So that was the Great Charter, the Magna Carta. All right. So remember that. The Magna Carta, two rights. King would not imprison or take away property of his subjects without trial by jury of peers. And the king would not impose new taxes without the consent of the barons. All right, we have the Enlightenment age. What was the Enlightenment age? It was an age where all the people begin to challenge or question authority. People begin to question the authority of monarchy. Wait a minute. Why does a king or a queen get to tell us what to do? What makes them so special? For the first time in history, they were questioning the power of monarchy, power of government. And also, it was a time where they were questioning the church. Well, what makes a priest be able to, sell tickets to heaven and such things like that? Real breakthroughs in science took place during the Enlightenment. So there were two Enlightenment thinkers. Who were they? That's right. One was John Locke. And John Locke came up with two ideas. So right here in your study guide, I keep going the wrong one. Study guide right here. What was the Enlightenment age? So right in your thing, the Enlightenment age was a time where people questioned authority. I would put church and government. Let's put G-O-V apostrophe T. There we go. All right. A time, I'll just go ahead. There we go. There we go. So you guys can really see it. All right. Who was John Locke? And what two ideas is he known for? All right, they're right here, guys. So John Locke was known for two ideas. One of those was social contract. So social contract is people agree to cooperate as a community. Community agrees to obey the ruler as long as what? The ruler protects the rights of the people. If the ruler stops protecting the rights of the people, what do the people get to do? Rebel against the king and overtake that government and replace it with a government that will protect their rights. Good job. Wrong one again. So, let's see. Who was John Locke? He was one, an Enlightenment thinker. He's known for social contract and natural law. I don't even have to write it down. It's right there for me. What is social contract? People agree to obey government. Can't spell. Government. Government agrees to protect people's rights. If government stops protecting rights, what gets to happen? People have an obligation to overthrow. I don't think that's how you spell overthrow. That government and replace it with a government that will protect their rights. There we go. Bam. All right. Good job. So we're doing a social contract. Now, what is natural rights? Natural rights is the rights of life, liberty, and property. They're called unalienable rights. They're God-given rights no one can take away. All right. So again, I keep messing that up. I'm going to just move this. What is natural law? That's easy. Life. Nope. Oh, undo that. Whoopsie. Life, liberty, and property. But in parentheses, I'm going to put pursuit of happiness. Because that's what it says in the Declaration of Independence. There you go. There's the three natural laws. So what is John Locke known for? Social contract. Get this down too. Kind of make it easier to see. What is social contract? And he's known for natural law. All right. So let's see about Montesquieu. What is Montesquieu known for? That Montesquieu, Baron de Montesquieu. He also was an Enlightenment thinker. Let's go on here. Enlightenment thinker. And he was best known for separation of powers. Right here. I'm actually going to bold and underline that. That's pretty important. Okay. He's an Enlightenment thinker. He's known for separation of powers. What is separation of powers? So, separation of powers is the idea that a king who has unitary power, all power right here, is a king. He makes laws, he enforces those laws, he judges those laws. He is the almighty king. He gets to do anything he wants. He has all the power. But check this out. Montesquieu said, how about if we separated that power out? So now, instead of him getting makes laws, enforces laws, judges laws, let's only let him enforce laws. Let's actually create another branch of government or group of people that is a legislative branch to make laws. And then a whole nother branch over here, the judicial branch of courts. So he's not judge and jury. You do the court system. He doesn't make laws. That's a legislative branch. All he does is enforce laws. So is he more powerful here or here? That's right. He's more powerful here when he has all power. But Montesquieu said, why have him all powerful? Let's separate those powers out. Give them to other people. Spread them out. Spread that love. And then he doesn't have as much power to do as much damage. So how are we going to put that in here? What is separation of powers? Oh, let's say instead of giving one ruler all power, separate it to other, we're going to put bodies but really it's like branches. In parentheses, I'm going to put 3 branches of government. So we get the 3 branches of government. Okay. So there's another thing he did was checks and balances. We're not going to worry about this. Let's just skip this part. We're going to cover another chapter. I don't want to confuse you with it, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. All right, so awesome. Now we talked about the Magna Carta, remember? We were just in the Magna Carta. Let's go up here. We talked about the Magna Carta, the Great Charter. Remember? And remember King John and the barons? We just talked about that. So we should know about the Magna Carta. What was the Magna Carta, and why is it important? We're going to put the Great Charter. Okay, and then we're going to put barons forced King John to sign it and give the barons certain rights, thus limiting King John's power. All right, awesome. And then what 2 rights were granted to the barons by the Magna Carta? What 2 rights were granted by the barons by the Magna Carta? Do you remember? Remember? Right there, 2 of them. Right there. Pause the video if you need to. 1 was trial by jury of peers. And the second one, I don't know why that's all wonky now. It's going to drive me nuts. Okay. Trial by jury of peers. And the other one was no taxation without consent. King John can no longer tax him. He can no longer say, off with your head. They were granted a fair trial. Okay, what is limited monarchy? Okay, this was a prime example of limited monarchy. The definition is in the word. Limit monarchy. Limit the power of the monarchy. To limit the power of a king or queen. All right, how did the Magna Carta portray limited monarchy? In other words, how was it a limited monarchy? The Magna Carta limited the power of King John. Now I'm going to put, he could no longer do as he pleased. Like raise taxes, let's just say raise taxes and execute people or take their lands. So that's how it limited his power. All right, so we're on a roll. Here we go. How much time do I have left? I'm 13 minutes in. Okay, so the Magna Carta, we already talked about Enlightenment thinkers. What 2 Enlightenment thinkers? John Locke, that's right, social contract and natural rights. Baron de Montesquieu, he came up with the idea of separation of power. And now we're going to talk about the Mayflower Compact. Years and years and years and years later, way in the future, a group of colonists gathered on a ship called the Mayflower. And they traveled from England to the New World. And the colonists got on this boat called the Mayflower, and they all sat down and decided to sign the Mayflower. No, they didn't sign the Mayflower, I'm sorry. They decided to sign a document called the Mayflower Compact. A compact is a contract. So that's what they did. And it was a direct democracy. Every person on that boat got to vote. Well, if you were a man, if you were a woman, you didn't have any rights. If you were a kid, you didn't have any rights. Slave, you didn't have rights. So they created their own laws because they knew that they were going to be far, far away from England and they couldn't obey their laws because it would be so far away. So they had to make up their own. This is a great example of self-government or self-governed. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video or stop it, and we're going to go ahead and you can play part 2. Great job for listening up. Proud of you guys. Bye.